Game 1 is in the books of the NBA Finals. It was a great game. Had 13 lead changes in the game. Also went to overtime. And it was definitely worth the wait of 7 days in between the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. But the Warriors got the job done in overtime where they pulled away. Ended up winning by 8 points. And LeBron James, he had a hell of a game. And it still wasn't enough. The Cavaliers let this game get away. And on top of that, in overtime, Kyrie Irving left the game. And it looked like an injury to his left knee that already is having tendonitis. And it didn't look minor. And from there, they pretty much traded blows until the end of regulation. And from that point on, it was all Warriors. The Cavaliers only had 2 points in overtime, and they scored those 2 points with less than 20 seconds in the game. They were 1 of 10 from the field in overtime. LeBron in OT, he missed 3 shots and had 2 turnovers. He did get the lone basket that came with about 15 seconds left. That had no effect on the game, though. And the Cavaliers lost. And they pretty much blew the perfect game to win. This was a tailor-made Cavaliers game to win. LeBron James had 44 points. You would think this Cavalier team would be able to capitalize on that type of performance from LeBron James. And Kyrie Irving, he played great as well. Plus, he looked relatively healthy. He gave a performance that I don't think anyone expected. He nearly resembled the Kyrie Irving that we saw in the Celtics series. Kyrie Irving was driving to the lane, and he was even playing great defense on Steph Curry. Had a clutch block down the stretch to keep the game tied up. He also had a block on Steph Curry in the first quarter. Had 4 steals in the game. Finished with 23 points, 10 of 22 shooting. Just an all-around great game from Kyrie Irving. And on top of that, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson didn't necessarily have great games themselves, although Steph was closer to having a great game. He finished with 26 points, 10 of 20 shooting with 8 assists. But Klay Thompson was just 5 of 14 from the field with 21 points. But what put the Warriors over the top was the difference in bench points. The Warriors bench outscored the Cavaliers 34-9 in this game. That's right, 34-9. Golden State is able to go 10 deep, in which they did in this game. And the Cavaliers were only able to go 8. With Matthew Dellavedova only getting 9 minutes in the game. And we knew that was the Warriors' advantage coming into this game, that they're the deeper team. And that proved to be the difference in the game. When the Cavaliers had their big lead around the first and second quarter, it was the Warriors' bench that got them back into the game. And Andre Iguodala and Maurice Spates deserve a boatload of that credit, because Spates in the first half, he was a part of that run that got the Warriors back into the game, hitting clutch jumpers for them. And then Andre Iguodala, he was the only defender that was able to frustrate LeBron on the Warriors in the game. LeBron, like I said, finished with 44 points. But Iguodala frustrated him just like he did on the last shot of the game that forced overtime, where the Warriors were able to pull away. Iguodala also added 15 points and shot 2 of 3 from deep. The Warriors, they never panicked in the game, even when they were down big early. Even when the Cavaliers got back up 7 in the second half. The Warriors always stayed the course, stick to their game plan. And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, with the great equalizer, those 3-point shots, were always able to keep them in this game. And when it came to overtime, the Cavaliers just looked shot. And I guess that's probably David Blatt's fault for his poor distribution of the minutes. We knew coming into this series that Kyrie Irving wasn't 100% healthy, even though, yes, he had 8 days off in between the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. But knowing all that Kyrie wasn't 100%, David Blatt only played him 44 minutes in the game. Yes, an overtime game, but 44 or 53 minutes when you know Kyrie Irving isn't 100% and he missed 2 games in the last series, I don't think is the smartest idea. Matthew Dellavedova played well in his absence. Kyrie, now he played nowhere near Kyrie's level, but he was competent playing point guard. And he only got 9 minutes in the game. But I want to get back on LeBron James because, yes, he had a great game, but he also needs to take blame as well. His 44 points was great, and he dominated when he chose to. But he also settled for bad jumpers a lot in the first half. Less so in the second half. He did hit a big three to tie the game as well down the stretch from three. But when the game was on the line, as time expired, LeBron chose to go isolation, one-on-one with Iguodala, and take a step-back contested jumper that, of course, he missed. And from that point on, I knew the Cavs were not going to win the game in overtime at all. And what do you know what happened in overtime? They were only able to score 2 points, and that came in the last 15 seconds. 1 of 10 from the field, and the game was over. But they suffered a bigger loss in overtime because Kyrie Irving left the floor, and he was limping pretty bad. And there are now reports that have came out saying that he left the arena on crutches. The injury looks to be to the same knee that he is having tendonitis in. And like I said in the intro, it did not look minor at all. So not only did the Cavaliers lose their best chance of stealing a game in Golden State, they also may have lost Kyrie Irving for the series based on how bad that injury looked. And if so, they don't have a chance, especially since they didn't win game one. Had they won this game, now the odds are a little bit in their favor, but without Kyrie, it would still be tough. But to lose a game in which LeBron scored 44 points, in which Kyrie scored 23 and looked relatively healthy throughout regulation until his injury in overtime, that's a huge blow to the Cavaliers' chances of winning this series. Kyrie's injury is going to determine if the Cavaliers even have a shot now. And I feel bad for the kid. This is his first NBA Finals. He already's been dealing with injuries all playoffs. Came back, looked great in regulation, played good defense, got to the rack, resembled the Kyrie Irving we know him to be. And then this injury in overtime. It just sucks because the Cavaliers had that game sealed up. And had they won it in walk-off fashion, Kyrie would still be healthy right now. And I'm not blaming LeBron for that at all. I'm just saying that's just factual. If they were able to win in walk-off fashion, or even if they lost in regulation, Kyrie would still be healthy. That overtime changed everything. Not only did the Warriors snatch victory from the hands of defeat, stealing that game from the Cavaliers in which LeBron had 44 points. If Kyrie Irving is not able to come back, the Cavs are going to get walked over as the experts predicted before this series started. There is not enough help around LeBron James to beat this deep Warriors team without Kyrie Irving. And from how it looked, if he is able to come back, that doesn't look like an injury. He's going to come back and resemble what we saw in game one. He may resemble more what we saw in the Hawks series, where he's relegated to a set shooter if he's able to come back. I'm no doctor, though. So hopefully I'm wrong and Kyrie is able to come back. But that did not look good at all. And if so, if he doesn't come back, the Cavs don't have a chance. LeBron could score 40 every game, and they possibly could still get swept without Kyrie Irving because now Dellavedova is going to have to get 44 minutes. The Cavs are depleted and are in trouble. And this Warriors team is just great. They're 10 men deep, and they have versatile players at multiple positions. Not to mention just the MVP as well, Chef Curry, possibly the greatest shooter of all time. The Warriors took game one. They stayed poised when they were down, stuck to the game plan, went small down the stretch, and were able to exploit the Cavaliers, stealing a game that they probably should have lost. That just shows you how great this Warriors team is. They didn't rank number one in plenty statistical categories this season for no reason. By the stats, they aren't ranked the fourth best team in history for no reason. It's time to wake up. And if Kyrie Irving can't go, this is going to be a short series, regardless how great LeBron James is.